This is
Hello?
not going to be good.
What's not going to be good? Trying to get the cats back in the house? I told you not to let them out.
Arnold? Oh, Christ. Oh, God.
Did you lose the cat?
I did.
You're a dumb...
Arnold? 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 There he is. Okay. There he is.
Don't listen to me. I mean, I don't have 2 cats. I haven't had cats for almost all of my life.
Arnold? Here.
Now
Arnold.
it wants to go back in the window.
Yeah. Arnold, go back in. No, Arnold. 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 Arnold, go. No, where are you going? No, go this way.
Well,
Ruby, come here.
if you cut the cat's claws off,
Ruby.
it's
Ruby, get the kitty.
painful for it
Get
to
the
jump.
kitty. Ruby, get the kitty. Get the kitty. Go get the kitty.
Oh my god. I
Gosh,
can't take this. I totally can't take this.
Arnold, come here.
I'm calling PETA to come and take all your animals away.
Hold on. I got this. Arnold, come here.
Pick the damn cat up, put it in the window, and close
God,
the
you're
screen.
fat. Sorry, Tyler. I didn't mean to say fat. Here.
How much does that cat weigh?
Oh, God, about 80 pounds. Here.
I bet you my is bigger.
Ow! God! Ow, you scratched me. Look like I'm suicidal now. Where we get in the house?
This week on Positively Godless, Jerry spends the entire night in bed, and Scott rushes frantically to get back downstairs.
The studio.
Before PETA comes to take away all of his animals. Oh, plus we talk about Genesis.
Not
she
the
says to
band.
have the invisible touch it.
I never liked Phil Collins.
Is that Phil Collins or Genesis? I don't know.
Same thing.
cat cut me.
Phil Collins was Genesis.
Oh.
I told you not to let the cat out of the window, you dumb.
I let the cat out of the bag. This week I'm Positively Godless. Crazy! Over, under, feeling crazy! It was no wonder, you're just making me crazy!
Oh my gosh.
Intro
Hey guys,
now.
welcome to this
It's
week's
not that
episode.
part of the show, Scott.
No, this is the show right here. Welcome to Positively Godless, guys.
Hi.
Jerry, you're in a compromising pose tonight.
I am. But I'm comfortable on my bed, but hopefully this works, and hopefully I can keep the camera still.
You have pants on?
I do, but they're cut off Superman pajama pants.
I am your host this week, Tyler Zoolander, joined by the cut-off superstar, Jess Jerry, and the bold and the beautiful, Scott Lawrence. How are you guys doing tonight?
We are
Perfect.
Perfect, huh? We had some technical difficulties last week, and we've already had some tonight, so hopefully now that Jerry's hardwired, he'll be okay.
I actually unplugged, and that's when you guys came back on video.
Perfect. Perfect.
This is going swimmingly.
Right?
Oh my God.
It's actually been longer for us because we've always been on a Thursday recording schedule, and then last week, because of scheduling, we had to record on a Tuesday. So it's been more than a week since we've seen each other smiling. Well, not you, Scott. I saw you over the weekend, but...
You did, I don't remember.
What,
Sorry, you beat me up.
Yeah, I did. We should post that picture online.
Yes, you should.
What do we have from last week, guys? It was kind of an interesting episode from our perspective, because we are all aware of everything that happened online and offline and what didn't make the edit of the show and what did.
Way to pique the curiosity, Tyler.
Right? Well, no, but the reason that I bring it up is because we still, I think, had some pretty positive reviews.
We had great reviews. We've hit actually over 100 subscribers on YouTube, which is great.
What's the sign language, Jerry?
Oh, I was saying hi to Gavin.
In sign language.
Gavin's my son, and they're trying to hijack him.
Well played, sir. Well
played. Hi, Gavin. Love you. This is actually your father speaking. You've never watched the show since episode 5. Grown from Xbox. He's not going to get that chastising. So, anyway, we're at 100 plus subscribers on YouTube, which is kind of cool.
Really?
Yeah.
We broke the 100 mark.
We broke the 100 mark, so thank you all for subscribing. We really, really appreciate it. So
we are Centurions.
Scott, where can people go to subscribe?
I don't know.
YouTube.com/positivelygodless. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/positivelygodless. If you want to email us, positivelygodless@gmail.com, or we're on Twitter at pgodless.
There's a reason why I do that and Tyler does not. Facebook.com.
There is a reason.
There's a reason
I don't do that anymore. Sorry.
And I was the one that had 2 strokes.
Oh, you couldn't even make it through the first one.
Wait, what?
I told you this story 100 times, Scott. I had 2 strokes, but I still can talk.
I was thinking something else, sorry.
You're so lucky that I don't want to make an edit for Tyler.
That's a new thing too. We're not gonna. We're gonna.
Yeah,
we're
here
gonna
you go,
try our
Scott.
best.
I'm editing myself
to make less edits. So for Tyler, because Tyler really is our bread and butter, and without without Tyler, we wouldn't have this show. So
that's
hats off to Tyler.
Yes, thank you, Tyler. But Scott, you have something on your nose. It's brown.
Again? I'm being nice today. Don't make me swear. I'll swear.
Very nice.
Do we have
Scott,
any comments?
what do we want to talk about last week's episode and the comments and
imagine all the people.
Careful, we'll get copywritten and all that stuff. People liked it. I don't know if I'm trying to find comments here because I don't want to alt tab and lose everything. So if someone can grab the comments, that'd be great.
No, I've got our. Well, do we want to start with Headcase or do we want to start?
No. Actually, can we go back? We had a little drama on our. Not a little drama, but it was an interesting. Back and forth that didn't go very far, but it was kind of cool to see a couple Christians on our site this time in our comments.
Yeah,
Go on.
This is Raw5069 in regards to last week's episode. This is not what God intended the world to be. We are doing this to the world by following Satan's lead. As to imagine there is no, in parentheses, God, heaven or hell. At this point, we cannot. The cat was/is out of the bag about him from the very beginning.
I don't get one word of that.
I don't think he gets one word out of that.
Yeah. And then we had a response from MG42 Pillbox.
Yeah, and that guy's very entertaining.
Is he?
That guy's...
He just wrote yes.
That was his response.
That's all I can say is that guy is something else.
Is Raw 5069? Is he the one that all his videos are him playing guitar and singing?
Partly, yes, but
Well, I'll give
he
him
goes.
credit. He does have a nice singing voice. I was entertained by that.
Yeah, I've talked to him before. He's okay. I mean, we haven't had a big exchange, but he was a part of he was in a and I don't want to lump ourselves as far as being YouTubers go. Nothing against people who do this, on YouTube all the time, but we're just a
Like us.
show. Well, no, we're not. No, I don't think we're like that at all. There's people who go on there daily for hours and hours and hours and do these hangouts. And
Yeah.
if that's your thing, that's great. But I met him through one of those where I'm trying to get views for our show, and a future guest chastised me, and he was actually in that room, so that's how he knows about our show.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
So
fine.
then,
I don't care who's watching as long as people are watching.
Yeah, I don't care.
yeah. So Scott, you logged in as the Positively Godless account, and Headcase both had responses to try and keep a conversation going, but it ended there. So I'm not going to go any further than that. But I will share Headcase's standalone comment that he left, and he says, "I imagine a world without sickness and disease, one where people do not grow old. Yes, you could still die from fatal injuries, but death from sickness and old age become things of the past. The answers are right there in our DNA, and we just have to figure them out."
Get your equipment, Headcase. You're coming up.
So,
Can I say something about that?
yeah.
Of course.
I totally like that Headcase watches the show, and I totally like that he's interactive with us on Facebook and on YouTube. But we have to die. We have to. No, I don't think. I mean, I would love for us to not die from sickness and disease, but we have to die. Otherwise, we would be overpopulated, and we would destroy. Like the world would be destroyed. So it's kind of inevitable for death. It's kind of
To make room, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's population control is what it is.
Interesting.
I'm not afraid of dying at all. I mean, death is death, and when I die, I die. If I die tomorrow, if I die 50 years from now, that would make me 88. Yeah, that'd be good. But I just don't want to die a slow, painful death. But I've accepted that I have to die.
Yeah, that's a good topic for
I don't want to. I
episode.
don't want to live forever.
Foo Fighters.
So that's it. Otherwise, Headcase,
We love you, Headcase.
we love you.
Word.
Okay. Word to your mother.
Scott, anything else specifically from last week?
No, I thought it was a great episode. With all the technical issues that transpired, I thought it's greater than I ever expected it to. So thank you, Tyler.
Again.
No, and I thank you both. I mean, this is our show. This isn't no person is. Oh, I do have something. I think I know. Thank you, Tyler. I think you're nudging me on something. I'm going to apologize in advance. I've known this for a few weeks, but last week I was actually on a radio show promoting Positively Godless. Finally, I get to do this. I've been forgetting the last 3 weeks, and then the thing aired last Sunday. The link will be in the description as well once I get it to you, Tyler. I was on a podcast of podcasts. It was called on an AM radio station here in Minneapolis for Minnesota atheists, and I got a chance to kind of talk about our show and talk about our fans and what our topics and what our show is. And I think there's 4 other podcasts, and we're the only video podcast that people can kind of see the stupid things that we do, like Tyler fixing his hair right there. And Jerry picking his nose. So I remember they asked a question about disasters that happen, and a lot of these people on the panel were veterans who've done this for like 100+ episodes. And I remember the radio host asking me, "You're relatively new. I doubt you've had any disasters." And I remember saying, "I think Tyler and Jerry would agree that I am one of the disasters, and the disasters are our bread and butter. The disasters on our show create our great blooper reels and make us laugh hysterically." So that's one of the things I said. But the link will be in the description if you guys want to go ahead and watch it and subscribe to other channels too. So finally, I got a chance to say that. Whew. I can't think of anything else. Was there another announcement I was supposed to make? I can't remember.
No, I can't remember either.
I gotta go back. But no, that's all I got for right now.
Sweet.
Hi, Gavin.
Good.
So
Jerry, you got anything else?
GAVIN wasn't good enough for you?
No,
He had.
because he needs to hear it from his dad's voice. Ah, God, I just saw the bug again.
Is the bug crawling on you?
So real quick, before we recorded today, before Tyler got on the call, there was a huge ass centipede. I'm sorry. A huge centipede. Shoot, I didn't mean to say that. Sorry, Tyler. There was a huge centipede. Yeah, there it is. Thank you.
Huge.
That was
less than 2 inches long.
Scared me to death. Can you get it off?
Called his wife to take care of the bug. He called his wife
Yeah.
to come and kill the bug.
And tell them what else you heard,
in
Jerry.
the background, hitting higher notes than Mariah Carey.
It would have been great blooper material, but unfortunately,
I wish it was recorded.
it was not recorded.
I almost peed myself laughing.
Yeah. So, this is what happens behind the scenes of our shows. I freak out. But that's all I got. Jerry, do you have anything else?
I don't like cockroaches, but
But you like.
cockroaches and fleas.
Two things that you have to...
What did he say?
But you like.
Two things that you have to worry about when you're in Jersey, but not when you're in Minnesota.
There's no cockroaches and fleas in Minnesota?
No.
We clean our houses. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You've been to my house.
I know I've been to your house. Your house is very spick and span.
That's what husbands are for.
I don't think my wife would say the
seriously,
same
no,
thing.
that I wouldn't. I mean, I say it, but it's only a joke. I tell my husband that all the time.
Yeah, because my wife would actually disagree with you. Hence the bug today.
You were just being a baby. I'm trying to not lay down, but it's so hard because I'm in my bed.
Yeah, it's usually hard.
Does that look awkward?
Tyler, what do you got?
You have man boobs. I can't do the show. Oh,
wow.
geez.
I hope people are laughing with us right now.
That's bad.
I'm sorry.
Somebody cut out there.
Yeah, no, that was me.
Okay.
I was trying to switch the screen back and I hit the microphone mute.
Okay.
So, we had what I thought were some pretty killer spots earlier as we were talking to segue into tonight's topic, and then we just choo off the track and ended up
That's
at
why you're here.
ended up at man boobs. So
I don't
with
have
that-
them. I just looked like I have them.
So, with that, we'll go ahead and move into tonight's topic, which this is going to be a brand new experiment for us because it's doing something that we haven't done yet, and I don't really know how much of it we're going to actually get through before we have to cut this off, and I have a feeling that this is going to be something that ends up taking up segments over several episodes. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to start a Bible study tonight. And we're going to start by talking about the book of Genesis.
Great band. Great band. Love Genesis.
The Bible...
He was waiting for that. That's why I didn't lay out.
It was so...
I had that written down the minute you said it.
He had that planned for a week.
I did.
YouTube.com/positivelygodless. Feel free to leave comments and specifically call out certain members of the show.
Or Facebook.com/positivelygodless. And you can email us too. And
Gmail.com/positively. Oh, shoot. I did it again.
Yeah, I can't do it.
So, I've been going over stuff for the last couple of days, and I even went upstairs. I wanted to share this with you guys because I went upstairs and I went digging in some of my old crates that basically just have a whole bunch of books and yearbooks and things like that that should probably be burned. But I also have my Good News Bible. Which
the Good News Bible.
I know that all of you right now are doubting that this actually belongs to me, but I have physical proof that this belongs to me only.
That is cool.
Only me.
Written in purple. I swear I'm not the only gay guy on this show.
This is
Tyler,
probably...
I don't bust on you enough. I'm sorry.
No, this is probably, I want to say, from 4th, maybe 5th grade, somewhere around there. And it's, I've been reading through this, and it's interesting. It's, I mentioned on a previous show, I don't remember if it was one of our guests or not, that I have read pretty much all of the Bible. I used to actually sit with this thing and read large chapters. I mean, I went through the book of Psalms probably at least 8 times, something like that. And then, I mean, the rest of it, probably up till Revelations, because I was really scared of reading it at that time, because I was like, oh my God, the end of the world. That's so horrible.
Don't know the daily hour.
Sorry, Revelation, not Revelations. Go ahead, send your comments. That's fine. But in any case, what I want to say first and foremost, and if you guys want to chime in with this and add anything, because I don't want to speak for you, but I want to say this one more time before we start talking about this, because we're gonna start with Genesis. We'll see how far we get through it, because I know that Scott's got a lot of material.
I don't.
And no.
Looks like a science chapter from a book.
Put this together.
Yeah. But in any case, what I want to say is none of the 3 of us are experts on this. And until earlier this week, it had been, 15, 16 years maybe since I even cracked this thing open. Why I still have it, I couldn't even tell you. But I knew it was up there.
I have 2 Bibles, so...
Sure. But we're not experts. No. And we're going to go through this, and this is not going to be a factual tearing apart of these texts. This is going to be the 3 of our observations about what has been written in the Word, capital W, and we're going to go from there. But before, so are you guys satisfied with that?
Yeah, I'm not an expert. I never claimed to be an expert.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like I said, I didn't want to just didn't want to speak completely for you guys. If you had anything else you wanted to add as far as disclaimer or otherwise.
No. Look, we're 3 people that don't believe. That's what we are, and we make our show funny.
It's very, very true. Now, this was a Bible that was given to us What?
Okay, no, I thought Jerry was frozen for a second.
Uh,
But did you want to say something, Jerry?
That's why I was frozen in
I'm
that
sorry.
position.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I am just me with my opinion, and I mean, everybody's got an opinion, and that's it.
Cool.
So, this book was probably given to us, like I said, in like 4th or 5th grade, and it is... I don't want to call it a dumbed down version, but there is an introduction to this book that kind of explains how, this is not the literal translation, and it's rewritten, or actually, I guess it was rewritten in 1966, so that's also going to say something, but it was... it mentions that it was written for the English language of today, so that all you normal people could understand what was going on in the book and blah, 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 whatever.
So wait, so was it written like, if it was written in 1966, was it written like, hey man,
what's up, dude?
On that first day?
I think...
Said, let there be light.
Did. Wait, I think...
Dude, you see that light, man?
He said, hey man,
cool.
Got a light? Oh man, I hope we get so many comments
the light.
on this episode.
Otherwise, I can't create the weed.
I'm sorry if you grew up in the 60s, we're not making fun of you. Just for the record.
So, one of the points, because it's quite a lengthy introduction, I'm not going to read the introduction to it, but one of the things that I've found interesting is part of it here during the introduction to Genesis, because each book within the Bible also has its introduction, because this was aimed at the lay person. While this book tells stories about people, it is first and foremost an account of what God has done. It begins with the affirmation that God created the universe, which we're going to talk about in just a minute here. Mm-hmm. And ends with the promise that God will continue to show concern for his people, which we probably won't get to tonight. But here's the line that I found very interesting. Throughout the book, the main character is God, who judges and punishes those who do wrong, leads and helps his people, and shapes their history. The main character.
That's a key word right there.
Well, I'm just confused. Is the author stating that right, the Bible is a story, and it's the story of how God created the universe and everything, and like how
Jesus came and saved us all from...
Right, but is the author of this book that this Good News Bible saying that the Bible is a fictional story?
No, I certainly don't think that Thomas Nelson Publishers out of Nashville meant... No, I'm serious. I don't... I just had to list it because they're the ones that actually published it.
This book?
Right.
I think they
published this version. And... Let's see. Yeah. Thomas Nelson.
Jerry, where are you going?
I thought I had a cat stuck in the room.
Okay.
Oh, and this version was actually printed in 1978. So there's probably a groovy inserted here or there.
Groovy?
Yeah. So, no, I absolutely do not think that these guys in 1978 thought that by putting the main character is God. I do find it, I guess, kind of interesting, though, that was the choice of words that was being used. And it's like reading the synopsis for any other story that you're about to go into, and they're talking about the characters of the story. And yes, there can be stories that contain characters that are based on real life. I get that. But when you think of somebody as a character, you think of it as a fictionalized version. You think of, spoiler alert, Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or something like that as a character.
Just for the record, for the young people, we're not saying that Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny is not real.
They're characters.
Right.
Like the guy in the Lucky Charms box.
Oh, magically delicious.
It's magically delicious.
He's real on your cereal box. Right?
True. Carry on, because it's been an hour.
In the beginning,
I'm kidding.
when God created the universe, the earth was formless and desolate. The raging ocean that covered everything was engulfed in total darkness, and the power of God was moving over the water. Then God commanded, "Let there be light," and light appeared. Scott?
Well, continue, just continue, because you're on verse 3. Go through 5, actually, because then I'll comment on it.
All right, God was pleased with what he saw. Then he separated the light from darkness, and he named the light day, and the darkness night. Evening passed and morning came. That was the first day.
Okay, so that was the first day. So, if you don't, do you want to go through this verse by verse, or do you want to kind of
There's
jump
a couple
to it?
of things. Well, I just want to see if there's anything that you guys want to say at this point, because for
Not
me,
yet.
okay, that's fine. We can get to a certain point, but I want to just talk really quick about God created the universe. So he created everything that was already out there. I mean, the earth, the stars. Because again, spoiler alert, he's going to talk about the stars later. So what was the universe at that point? Was it just this dark mass? I mean, it says that everything was engulfed in total darkness. So what did he create in this total darkness? Out of nothing.
Well, I'll float you one even better. Is Pluto an atheist now because he just kind of got shoved off? Like, you don't matter anymore?
What?
Never mind. Edit that out. Edit that out. Head case, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Don't comment on that comment, head case.
The Earth
No,
was
Pluto's actually
formless.
the redheaded stepchild.
All right, so
The Earth was formless.
The Earth was formless and desolate. The raging ocean that covered everything was engulfed in total darkness.
But saying the Earth was formless is saying that the Earth was there before God created it.
Right.
Well, it's saying there's supposedly this massive ocean, but there's no form to the world itself.
So there's this big body of floating water somewhere.
So would he just
in
say
the
lift
universe.
and there's land?
This is what I'm asking. We are 5 verses in, and already something that I just took as common knowledge when I was a child. Oh, yeah, okay. Everything was in total darkness, and then God said, "Let there be light." That makes total sense. How does that... How? And seriously, if there are any theists that are watching this right now, please let us know. I want to move on from this because I want to talk about more, and so I don't want to get hung up on one topic. But we're not even through 5 verses, and it doesn't
make sense.
It doesn't.
Right.
It's asking us to believe that there was nothing, and God, who there's no physical form of God, so we have nothing, no stars, no sun, no moon, no earth, and God, this other being, just said, all of a sudden said, here's the earth. And like it appeared from his fingertips like Regina the evil queen makes a fireball in her hand.
And here's what, and I think this is where Tyler's going. And if I'm misspeaking, Tyler, I apologize. We're in verse 5 of chapter 1 in Genesis. How many pages is that?
It's not even a page.
Thank you. That's my point.
It's that much on the page?
That much on the page, and we're already having a discussion about this. And I have a whole packet here that I put together that you think this is bad. This is confusing. Wait till we get into future verses, which is going to be like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
We're already what in that? Go on.
Before we move on, I want to say that seriously, if there is somebody watching that can try to explain what this is, and I know a counter argument. One of them, what?
You don't understand Scripture.
Well, that's going to be a part of it too. But basically, I mean, like what Jerry was describing about having this magical being that was there and all of a sudden was just like, and everything appeared, whatever. Theists will draw the same parallels to somebody who believes in the Big Bang Theory, where basically there was nothing but this singularity or whatever, and then it exploded and all of this stuff started to appear. But when something is rooted like that in science rather than mythology, it's a little bit easier to, I guess, understand and believe in. And whether you actually believe in it or not is another thing. But
yeah. You're right. I mean, one of our guests
which one?
Said, G-Man.
Okay. You can name him.
Said nothing comes from nothing. He said that to us when we talked about evolution. He said nothing comes from nothing. You can have nothing and it evolve into a species. But here, this first verse of the Bible is saying there was nothing.
Except for God. And that's going to be his argument.
But who created God? And that's
where did God come from?
Ding ding! Oh, I wish I had a bell. Yes, exactly.
Well, you have it in editing, which you don't want to go through anymore.
Nope.
But do you, with your permission, Tyler, can I jump ahead for a second? Because when you look at Genesis 1:16 through 19, it says God made two great lights. The greater light was govern the day, and the lesser light was to govern the night. You know, isn't that the same thing that you just read in chapter 1, 3 through 5?
Let there be light.
Yeah.
But at that point, on day 1, and what would have been day 2? No, day 1, day 2, and day 3. That light supposedly didn't come from any sort of light source. I want to come back to this.
Okay.
I want to come back to this once we get to day 4. All right. So we'll do this. We'll do this a day at a time. All right. Then God commanded, "Let there be a dome to divide the water and to keep it in 2 separate places." And it was done. So God made a dome, and it separated the water under it and from the water above it. He named the dome Sky. Evening passed and morning came. That was the 2nd day.
I'm
so
confused.
Now, right? Welcome to the most convoluted story ever told. And this is only Genesis. There's a whole.
No, this is only Genesis chapter 1.
There's a whole rest of the book here to go that supposedly.
And we all know that the Bible is printed half a page down and then half a page down. So
on the thinnest paper It would make Charmin jealous.
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 Jello-ish.
Jealous.
Can you read that again, Tyler? Because I left my Bible in the other room.
Not a problem. So, where we ended in verse 1 on the first day was he separated the light from the darkness. He named the light day and the darkness night. So then, so that was the first day. So then God commanded, let there be a dome to divide the water and to keep it in 2 separate places. And it was done. So God made a dome, and it separated the water under it from the water above it. He named the dome Sky. Evening passed, and morning came. That was the second day. So basically, the way that I interpreted this is that because in verse 2, the raging ocean that covered everything was engulfed in total darkness. So now you had this raging ocean that was covering everything. Keep in mind, this was written by a bunch of guys in like the year 300 when they still thought the Earth was flat. Okay, they didn't realize that the Earth was round. So basically, instead of having any land and having any sky, all it was just infinite water. Supposedly. But then, on the second day, when God commanded, let there be a sky, now it's not infinite water, you actually have a separation, and you have an entire planet just covered in water, and then a sky to separate the water and the sky.
Yeah, but where did the water, like there's water above the sky?
God appeared out of nowhere, and all the stuff that he made appeared out of nowhere. Why can't he just make it disappear too?
Hey, jump over to Genesis chapter 2, verse 4 for a second, just for funsies.
And that is how the universe was created?
Is that verse 4? Genesis
chapter 2, verse 4? Where are you going?
Yeah.
It says here that it says God creates creates earth and heavens. Does it say anything about that in verse 4?
Nope.
Oh, okay, never mind. Can you edit that out too?
Sure, you're talking about the heavens and the...
Whoever I stole this from has got it wrong.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so continue on so we're not having silence or humming. Okay, so what else you got, Tyler?
Final Jerry, thoughts? He named the dome... Jeez,
Sorry, go on.
The third day God commanded, let the water below the sky come together in one place, so that the land will appear, and it was done. He named the land earth, and the water which had come together he named sea. And God was pleased with what he saw. Then he commanded, let the earth produce all kinds of plants, those that bear grain and those that bear fruit. And it was done. So the earth produced all kinds of plants, and God was pleased with what he saw. Evening passed, and morning came. That was the third day. What? Then God commanded, let the lights appear in the sky to separate day from night, and to show the time when days, years, and religious festivals begin. They will shine in the sky. Jerry. Oh no.
Would you bore him?
No idea what happened.
You have got some serious issues tonight.
I'm sitting 2 feet from my Wi-Fi.
Remember how he's yelling at me like, because your Wi-Fi is all the way across the other side of the house?
And you've had...
Love you, Jerry.
0 issues.
I love you too. So, you dropped out right as you said, the fruit shall bear, or the plant shall bear grain and fruits.
Yeah, so let the earth produce all kinds of plants, those that bear grain and those that bear fruit, and it was done. So the earth produced all kinds of plants, and God was pleased with what he saw. Evening passed and morning came. That was the third day.
Okay.
So now we magically have all sorts of plant life. So then God commanded, let lights appear in the sky, because before this, the light was just magically coming from nowhere. Now we actually have a light source that things are coming from. So let the lights appear to separate the day from night and to show time when days, years, and religious festivals begin. They will shine in the sky to give light to the earth, and it was done. So God made the two larger lights, the sun to rule over the day, and the moon to rule over the night. He also made the stars.
Can I?
Please.
The sun is a star, and the moon doesn't have light. The moon reflects light from the sun, and it's the fourth day. And this is the notes I put together. Can we talk about days for a second?
Please. What is a day, Scott?
A period of 24 hours as a unit of time reckoned from one midnight to the next, corresponding to the rotation of the Earth and its axis as it rotates around the sun. Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Okay,
if God didn't create the sun until the fourth day, how did 4 days already pass? Is that where you were going with that, Tyler?
No, it was not.
But it's a good question.
I totally agree. No, I totally agree.
I stole this, but it's true.
Yeah, no, I was just going to point out the fact that when this book was written, the Earth did not revolve around the sun revolved around the Earth.
Yeah, because what they saw was the horizon, and then the sun go, woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
But I totally agree. And the fact that there had been light for quote unquote 3 days already, that just came from where? God's butthole? Like, what? I don't.
Yeah.
Where? Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. And the moon to rule over the night.
God,
first of all,
two great lights.
First of all, right. He made two great lights. Yeah, and the moon. Because the moon never shows up during the day. Like, there's never any instance where you can walk out at, 10 o'clock in the morning or noon and look up into the sky and see the moon, right? I mean, that never happens.
And how did they explain the phases of the moon back then? How did they explain how the moon would be a whole big circle and then it would be like get smaller and smaller and smaller until there was a night with no moon? Right? Isn't that how it goes?
Right. Yeah.
It gets smaller and smaller and smaller until there's a night with no moon.
Right, when you get to the new moon.
Right.
Hi, Sam.
And then it gets big. Hi, Sam.
Carry on. Sorry.
Like that. How did they explain that? Like how the moon changed the way it looked?
I totally agree. I don't know, and if there is somebody that is a historical, astrological expert that would like to come on and explain that, I'd love to hear about that. I love history. I love hearing about that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, there had to be some sort of folklore that went along with it at the given time, because there's things that'll go back to like the ancient Aztec or Mayan societies where you'd have something like a solar eclipse and, they would have a certain explanation for it that they thought that, this certain god was in a bad mood or if you had a blood moon or a harvest moon that it thought that there was either going to be good or bad fortunes and things like that. So there had to be some sort of lore within early Christianity that as to why exactly those phases
The moon
of the moon
change.
happen.
Well,
Yeah.
hang on for a second.
But
I am so confused. First, and here's why. So, if any theist wants to go ahead and challenge me on my confusion, by all means, please do so. Because if you look at Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. I can't create anything of merit in complete pitch darkness. I need light to see what I'm doing. I can't just
yeah, but
grab
you're
that.
not God.
Oh, God.
I'm just trying to throw something out there
Okay.
because it
well,
doesn't
great.
make any sense to me.
You're
either.
right. I'm not God, and if I were God, I would feed those poor people that are starving in Africa. But never mind that fact.
Ooh, sick burn, yo.
What did you do there?
Jerry got it.
But seriously, like, oh, you don't understand. Like, all right, if I am God, then I would feed those poor people. I'm not going to swear.
No,
Carry on.
It was a sick burn.
It
But I
was-
go back to that beginning as well. Because if God created the heavens and the earth, or the entire universe, however you want to say it, but then on day 4, he created the sun and the moon and
The
the
2 lights.
stars. Huh?
The 2 lights.
The 2 lights. There are 4 lights. Never mind. You're no. Oh man, if you got that reference, please email me. I will love you forever. Anyway,
Apparently, Jerry and I did not.
nope,
Apparently, it's a David Matthews song
Nope.
or a Taylor Swift song.
nope. It's not a song. It's a TV show. Anyway, wouldn't that have been a part of creating the universe? I mean, you created the universe, but then you had to wait. So in this one exponential, just amazing act, everything in the universe is created except the sky, the plants, the lights in the sky, and eventually the man that's going to inhabit the earth. Like, if you're going through all this trouble, why wouldn't you just do all of that on day 1? Like, what's
If you're omnibenevolent, or if you're all powerful.
Well, am I in the wrong here?
No.
I mean,
Well, I'm thinking that it was a little out of order. I mean, because he said, "Let there be light" on the first day, but he didn't create the light source until the 4th day.
right. That's what this whole segment has been about. Is WTF? Why is this? What's going on here? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about day 5?
Oh, Scott, is there anything more that you want to say about this before we move on? Because I'm still flabbergasted, and I could continue going on, but we're gonna have a full episode just going through the first chapter of Genesis.
Yeah, I do have one thing. If you ever quote Star Trek: The Next Generation again,
Yeah, there it is.
you'll be kicked off the
Googled it.
show. Of course, I googled it
Did you
because I'm
really
not a nerd.
Google
Yes, I
there
did.
for lights?
Of course, I did. Why would I ever know that?
Star Trek: The Next Generation. I used to watch that
Oh,
when I was.
That is,
You know what?
Is
I'm
probably
gonna-
one of the
I gotta pee.
really.
Like, I'm not gonna pee during the show. I would never do that. I would never do that. I would never be disrespectful, especially to a guest. Especially to a guest. I would never do. Here, hold on. I don't want to unmute it.
This week on Positive, no,
Does he think he's being funny when he does that?
I think that he seriously has a bladder issue that he needs to have checked out. Like
Or maybe
those
be
commercials
one
on
bottle
TV.
of beer? Oh, with the little bladder holding the hand and pulling the person to the bed.
Yep, there's that one, but then there was the ones that were on a couple of years ago that were like the people made out of the pipes, and then they were like leaky pipes, and they were like, "Do you have a leaky bladder? You might need to take
gotta go right now.
If anybody has any recommendations on medication for IBS or
overactive
bladder and having to go frequently, please forward them. lawrenceband@yahoo.com. Thank you. So
why there now? Why to positively Godless at gmail.com?
I don't need to see any of that stuff. He does. Okay, I'm not the one that has to take a pee break every episode.
Well, I have a suggestion.
Okay.
1 bottle of beer.
That's gone within 15 minutes. That would never work. So, to wrap up before we move on to the 5th day, There Are 4 Lights comes from an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation in which Captain Jean-Luc Picard is kidnapped and tortured by Cardassians, and he is constantly being told that there are not the same number of lights that he is seeing, and he continues to reiterate that there are 4 lights and he won't be broken. And in any case, at some point, I will expunge deeper into I think expunge is the wrong word. That would mean I'd be getting. I will delve deeper into my love and fascination for Patrick Stewart, because he's an amazing actor, and he is one of the most outspoken and brave advocates against violence against women. And if you have a chance, go and Google some of the speeches that Patrick Stewart has given regarding to minimizing and trying to eradicate women's violence. They are insanely moving. Just incredibly touching, and they come from the heart, because his mother, growing up, he felt completely helpless, and watching his mother just being tortured at the hands of his father, and some very amazing work that he has done on that. But now that Scott's back, can we pick back up where we left off?
Are we still on Star Trek?
We talked about other things. You might be getting some emails. Don't worry about it. So...
God.
Then God commanded, "Let the water be filled with many kinds of living beings, and let the air be filled with birds." So God created great sea monsters.
Monsters?
Oh, yeah. All kinds of creatures that live in the water, and all kinds of birds. And God was pleased with what he saw. He blessed them all and told the creatures that live in the water to reproduce and to fill the sea. Then he told the birds to increase in number. Interesting how he didn't tell them to reproduce, though. Evening passed and morning came, and that was the 5th day. So again, we've got this entire universe creation. We have the creation of the lights and the stars and all of this other stuff that couldn't have been done the first day. And then you've also got now birds and fish. But no other animals.
Yeah. Well, no, you're reading 21 to 22, right?
Till 23, yeah.
Okay, so 23. Because now we go to 20.
That was the 5th day. Yeah. Now, on the 6th day, God commanded, "Let the earth produce all kinds of animal life, domestic and wild, large and small," and it was done. So God made them all, and he was pleased with what he saw. Then God said, "And now we will make human beings. They will like us and resemble us. They will have power over the fish, the birds, and all animals, domestic and wild, large and small." So God created human beings, making them to be like himself. He created them male and female, blessed them, and said, "Have many children, so that your descendants will live all over the earth and bring it under their control. I am putting you in charge of the fish, the birds, and all the wild animals. I have provided all kinds of grain and all kinds of fruit for you to eat, but for all the wild animals, for all the birds I have provided grass and leafy plants for food." And it was done. God looked at everything he had made, and he was very pleased. Evening passed and morning came. That was the 6th day. And so the whole universe was completed. By the 7th day, God finished what he had been doing and stopped working. He blessed the 7th day and set it apart as a special day, because by that day he had completed his creation and stopped working. And that is how the universe was created.
That's all I can say. And the reason that's all I can say is that people buy it. They buy it.
They absolutely do.
Buy that first chapter. I'm assuming that's the end of the chapter, right?
That is, well, yeah, technically that started chapter 2, but that...
Right, and it's funny, they don't bother to read chapter 2, which I can do a quick cliff note if you'd like.
Or, yeah, then we get into the Garden of Eden.
Well, no. We get into Genesis, chapter 2, verse 4, where he creates the heavens, the earth and the heavens, and then Genesis 2, 5 through 6 creates plants and water, and covers all the ground. Then Genesis 2, verse 7, God makes Adam from dust from the ground, and then on 2:9 he makes the trees, and then on 2:19 he creates animals, and then on 2:22 he makes Eve from Adam's rib. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know what the percentile is, and I'm not going to claim that I know, but a majority of these people accept this as fact. If you read it like how you just read it to us, Tyler. Oh, well, really?
Really?
You know what I mean? It's just like people are buying this stuff. People are actually voting people into office to run our country because of what you just read. Think about that for a second.
I don't know if it's necessarily because of what we just read, but
I think he's talking about the fact that, maybe Scott, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that the people who believe in that are maybe not the most smart?
No.
Because
absolutely not. But what I'm saying is that, and it's getting better, is that we have been, as human beings, have been programmed so much to believe the story as fact. In the United States of America, where we live, that people think this is a Christian nation, which actually it's not a Christian nation. They believe that this is how the earth was formed. This is how we became to be. They actually buy into this. But if we read it to them like you just did, they're still going to say, yes, I believe that. But it's a big question of, it goes back to, and I hate to say this, are we the wrong ones that are living in the Matrix? No, don't go there. I'm just asking a question. But you know what I'm saying? But when you think about the Santa Claus, you think about the Easter bunnies and the tooth fairies and stuff like that, it's just like, that doesn't make any sense, but this does? Seriously?
Yeah. I mean, I get that argument. I totally understand. I totally get it.
And people talk about non-believers. A lot of the Christians say, "Oh, you're not a believer because you don't have the evidence. You don't have the evidence." I'm sorry, I'm a non-believer because I got common sense for the most part. It's all
for the
That's when you're being sexist.
No one knows what we're talking about, Jerry. I got called sexist at work today because I told someone when I was on my phone taking a message saying, just 1 second, and she freaked out. God, I hope she doesn't watch this show.
I hope she does. And I hope she believes in everything that
No, but let's
is going
talk.
on here. Because
Yeah. But, I mean, when you look at it the way that we just read this. Jerry, go on. What do you got?
I don't. That's what I got.
I have a question for Jerry. I'm debating on asking it
Just
next
ask it.
week. Well, I don't know if I want to ask it next week because I don't know what the topic is yet. But it would go off topic. But there's something I'm dying to ask you. But
Why does it have to wait till next week?
Tyler marked this as maybe an edit.
not going to happen.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this for like a couple weeks now. Was it more difficult for you to come out as gay, or was it more difficult to come out for you to come out as a non-believer?
Gay.
It was more difficult. Okay. All right. That's it. I just wanted to get that out. Sorry for doing that.
Okay.
Jerry, final thoughts.
Final. What are we? Why do you keep going to final?
I don't know. That's my thing. I'm a final thought guy. No. What are you guys' thoughts? What's going on? What's happening here? What's the topic tonight?
I mean,
Hi, head case.
that whole it blows my mind, and it's been quite a long time since I read that, and I don't think I ever thought about it the way we are thinking about it and analyzing it right now. But it blows my mind even more than I thought it would.
Do you guys think that does this type of, I guess, if you want to call it like an origin story, does this seem, I mean, does it compel you to believe even less, or does it leave like a I don't know if I want to say a glimmer of hope, but like any sort of little bit of doubt in your mind? And where I'm going with this is something like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or leprechauns or whatever it is. You know, though there's tons of folklore and backstory and side stories and TV movies and all of that kind of stuff that are associated with those characters. But for each of them, we don't have, like we do here with the Bible, we don't have an actual, like, origin stories with most, if not all, of those types of characters. So when we grow up and we get to a certain point of where we finally realize that those things are not true, and then we start questioning. Like, quick side story: I learned. I'm going to be totally honest right now. I learned that Santa Claus was not real when I was in first grade.
It's around the time Gavin did too.
And I learned it because we had this D-bag kid in our class named Chris, and he thought he was all like funny, and he just like blurted out to the whole class, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well you guys know that Santa Claus and whatever," and just went into this whole thing, and the whole class was like, "Ah, oh my god," you know, and like the teacher just had to deal with like 28 melting down students, just like, oh my god, what, this is the end of the world. But so at that point in your life, you find something out like that, and then all of a sudden then you find out, well, yeah, he's not real. Well, what about the Easter Bunny? Well, what about this? Well, what about God? And so I get all of these, and I'm talking to my parents about this, and I get all of these. Well, no, of course, no, that's not real. That's made up. Well, that's not real. That's made up. And well, what about God? Well, of course, that's real.
Yeah.
But why?
Because you have that book that's this big that tells you it is.
Yeah, this is the reason why. A 1,000-page book that was written by a bunch of men in, the medieval ages, hundreds of years after Christ died. That's what I'm supposed to believe is true, but not believe in leprechauns and fairies and unicorns that poop marshmallows. I mean, come on.
Right.
Well, I mean, they just say that it's not even in the Bible. Like, why isn't God real? Why is God real? Because He is. That's the answer that I got when I was a kid. Because He is. Okay. Don't hit me.
And I understand that, when it comes to the Bible and when it comes to, because we're just covering the first chapter or two of the origin story that's within this book. And I understand you have the Old Testament, you have the New Testament, you have Jesus dying on the cross and all of that kind of stuff. And that's... I get that when people look at Christianity, especially from an evangelical perspective, is, that's really where it comes into play, is when you get into the New Testament and the teachings of Jesus and all of that kind of stuff. I get all of that. But you still have to have a fundamental basis, because this is where Jesus comes from. Without Genesis and everything that happens after it, you can't have Jesus. You can't have it both ways. What I'm trying to say is Christians will stick to their guns so hardcore when it comes to the teachings and the professings of Jesus, but when it comes back to going back to the Old Testament, because that was just kind of a different time and blah, and it just, there was certain things that we didn't know back then.
So you're saying...
It's your book, though.
You're saying that, well, from what my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jesus only appears in the New Testament.
Yes.
That is correct.
So you're saying that they're going to they're going to choose to believe the origin story, nothing that comes between the origin story and the New Testament, and then the New Testament.
No. They still believe that stuff, but the stuff that's in between is what is given up as much more of that gray area, and that's where we get into the homosexuality stuff, the certain things that you can and cannot eat and wear, and owning slaves and stoning your children and all of that kind of stuff that goes on in that middle portion. Whereas there are other things like the Ten Commandments and all of that kind of stuff that, people are always, oh yeah, well, the Ten Commandments, of course we abide by that. No, you don't. You've hated someone in your heart. You've already committed murder in your heart.
Okay, right, Ray Comfort. Okay, Ray Comfort.
But anyway, that's where you get into
Comfort.
that.
I thought Paul Ridgway said that to us.
No.
Ray Comfort is the banana man who is a partner with Kirk Cameron.
And but it's also the McCarthys.
But they go to his church. That's what they
Hey, Melissa McCarthy is great. Sorry.
Well, Jerry, you get more size than me this episode. Turn over a new leaf.
All right, Jerry. what are your final thoughts on the creation of the universe? Scott?
Listen, I don't necessarily believe in the Big Bang, but
what do you believe in then?
I don't believe in because there's no way to prove either one of them.
True.
You know what I'm saying? There's no way to prove that something exploded and then that's how we got the Milky Way and we got Mars and Mr. Goodbar and Snicker. No, I'm kidding.
That was funny.
There's no way to prove the Big Bang. There's no way to prove Genesis chapter 1. So I don't know. It's just it's hard, all hard for me to believe in. Yeah. I just
I don't want to hijack your final thought here, but I think that you bring up a good point in that I, for a very long time, have found the Big Bang as a much more compelling
or plausible, yeah.
Compelling or plausible explanation to what's going on in here. And I know there are all sorts of people that would love to come and argue that theory as well. But all I'm going to say, because I am ultimately a believer of that or not, but I still continue to have an open mind about it. And what I will say about whether it's the Big Bang or any other alternate theory besides a creationist theory is that at one point in time, this book and these words here seemed to be the most plausible thing that was out there. And at one time before that, before the words were even written down and things were just passed on through an oral tradition, it was the most plausible thing that there were multiple gods, and there was a sun god, and there was a god of the underworld, and there was a god of the sea, and a god of the land, and that was the most plausible thing. So, while I am much more willing to subscribe to the theory that the Big Bang is probably what got us here, just because it's the most plausible thing that's out there right now, I'm not completely closed-minded to the fact that there could be something else.
Right.
God?
The Matrix?
No, seriously.
The universe on a kiddie string?
No, I'm being serious. For a second.
So am I.
Oh, okay.
So am I.
Said Matrix. I thought you were messing with me again.
Well, sort of.
No, what he's saying is that, I mean, what you're saying is that I had it in my head and it's gone. You're willing, you think that, I mean, the Bible, it is, at the time it was written, and for hundreds of years, probably even thousands of years, that this is how people believed. This is the only thing that they could come up with to explain how it all happened.
I don't want to say that it's the only thing, because there's always been multiple things. It's just a matter of what the majority of people. I mean, because there were people when people were getting, converted over to Christianity in massive amounts, there were still people who believed in multiple gods, and they thought, much like there is today, where it's like everybody's walking around going, Christianity is the way and it's the only way. And where a lot of atheists today will go, science and the Big Bang and all of that is the only way. And
right, because then you can have your 9th grade science textbook and wave that around.
whatever it might happen to be. And then for a lot of atheists, they will then look down upon Christians or Muslims or Hindu or anybody of any religion and go, well, how inferior are you? Because you still believe, you're still a theist. You still believe that there's some sort of extraterrestrial power. And while I don't understand believing in that extraterrestrial power, I'm not looking down on them for that. That's the difference, and I think that's where the three of us come in. At the end of the day, we may not understand it. We may not agree with you at all on what your views are, but those are your views. That's your beliefs.
Right.
I can't tell you what to believe, if that makes sense. So
No,
yes,
it
I
makes
think
perfect sense.
there was a point at which those walking around with the Bible and believing this and this seeming to be the most plausible were absolutely in the majority, but there were still plenty of other schools of thought in which people could subscribe to. Some of them were, illegal, and they might be, hanged or crucified or executed or whatever it might happen to be. But yeah, I think that there have always been there's always something out there that seems to be the most plausible, and then eventually something else comes along, and the majority clings on to that instead. So I'm sorry, I didn't want to hijack
No, it's fine. You're fine.
what it was that you were saying, but I thought it was that thread was kind of there to go down that road. So.
No, it's fine. Scott,
I don't know.
you don't know what.
I don't know. I mean, how the Earth came to be, I don't know. And that's the best honest answer I can possibly give you. I'm not going to claim to say, oh, yeah, it's a Big Bang or whatever it is, or it's God or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that the world I live in today, and Genesis chapter 1, after reviewing it and talking about it, it seems a little absurd. It really does. When you go back to that original question that we all talk about, like, okay, who created God? I don't know. Your I don't know is no different than my I don't know. Does that make sense?
Good point.
It's just you can't. A lot of the theists, and I'm not trying to pick on them at all. They get on our case when people like us, and I hate saying that, people like us, but people who don't believe. The minute that we say I don't know, they're like, aha, gotcha. No, you don't got us at all. Because the minute that we ask who created God, you make some sort of backhanded excuse. Well, God doesn't need a creator because he's his own creator, or some sort of ridiculous thing.
He is his own creator.
Oh, well,
I know. And sorry, I was trying not to interrupt, but then
no, it's okay. It's okay.
It does. It gets to that point of where it's so.
It gets your blood boiling, and then, I don't know. I don't know. That's okay, right? I mean, why isn't it okay for the believers?
It's okay.
No, that's my question. Is that why isn't it okay for the believers? If I could just simply honestly say, I don't know, but I don't believe in it.
On the other hand, too, remember, Paul Ridgway and G-Man, when they both came on the show, they were very honest and said, if I don't have an answer to your question, I will default to I don't know. So it's okay for them to default to I don't know, but they want us to believe in what they believe in. But it's not okay for us to default to I don't know. I can't believe that Genesis actually happened.
Yeah,
but I don't know how we got here. It's not a good excuse. It's not a good like belief for us. I mean, like Tyler said, it's Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. They're all not real, but this is.
I got here from my parents. You got here from your parents. That's honest. How the world came to be, I don't know. That's honest.
Right.
So that's all I got. So.
All right. Well, we got about as far as I expected that we would tonight. I didn't think that we were going to make it very far into Genesis. And
lots of time.
I do...
Do you have time? Do you want to go to third base? Didn't swear.
I want to continue later on in some future episodes with some more stuff, but I promise that it won't just be straight reading from the Bible, okay, going through but this intro beginning stuff, it's just it really got me going. But I want to talk some more concepts on this in the future. But in any case, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, or today, or whenever you're watching this. That was awful.
You gotta edit yourself out.
Thank you, everybody, for watching Positively Godless, and have a good rest of the day. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Positively Godless. Look at the links below, or in the screen, or wherever they are, and talk to us. Bye.
Stupid.
What? That was awful.
It's still recording.
Well, okay, I ready to launch. I gotta pee.
Go pee now, because I'm not going to wait for you in the middle of the show and look at an empty chair. Go!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode.
No!
No, what?
We
What?
are
What
not
are you talking-
doing this.
Not doing what? What? How could
Did
you
you
even hear
hear he's
me?
going to take us
Okay.
to the bathroom?
Oh, boy.
Did you
This is
hear
this
him?
is
How
highly
did you hear
inappropriate.
him? Is your headset turned up that loud?
Now he's not even listening to us.
Yes,
I
I am.
know, right? Well,
Why didn't
what?
you
Answer my damn question.
Ugh.
Jesus, if you're going to take me to the bathroom, at least show me.
No, I don't think so.
Smashing.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I really don't think so.
I just Fitbitted your wife, yes. Okay, so...
Oh
it's
God,
not-
it's still in the bar right now. It's freaking me out.
Okay, so,
God.
Tyler, this is what happened.
All right.
Scott and I are sitting here talking, like, because, we're usually talking, waiting for you a little
Right.
bit. He goes, oh my God. I'm like, what?
Your hands are on the mic.
He sees this bug,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he shows it to me on the computer. I'm like, what the? It's nothing. He goes, Muffin! Like he's Whitney Houston or something, calling Bobby, Muffin! He's like, Muffin! Elsa comes running down. He jumps off of the chair and says, you gotta kill that. Literally argued with her for 2 minutes because she didn't want to kill the bug for him. So then he turns the computer around for me to see what's going on. And he had to be back there by the microphones, that far away. And he's screaming like a girl. Ow, 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 while Elsa is killing the damn bug.
And she hasn't cleaned up the carcass yet.
Yeah, and he won't even go get a paper towel or toilet paper to clean up the damn dead bug that his wife killed for him.